Hello, this is Pastor Roland. Today I want to continue with our discussion about trauma. In the last video, I said that we're born creatures of trauma. We're born of the legacy of the trauma that occurred in the Garden of Adam and Eve, in the Garden of Eden, to Adam and Eve. And what happened was Adam rebelled, or he was tempted. He was tempted to try it his own way, to try to use knowledge to become successful and happy and so on, and turned his back on the simple way, the old school way, the old-fashioned way, which would have been the best way, namely intuition. Today you can see, for example, in the world of physics, Einstein, for example, Albert Einstein, made great discoveries, and he discovered them by way of intuition. He intuited the principles that were to become the foundation of a new way of looking at the world. He revolutionized what we had before from Newton, and Newton was also a great intuitionalist. His discoveries came from intuition also. Now you have some physicists that have gone to school and studied things, and now you have flights of fancy, or you have some foolishness, okay? Because they turn their back upon intuition. People like Moses, Abraham, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Enoch, they walked with God. They knew in their heart what was right, and they followed it. Okay? They trusted what they knew was right in their heart. They didn't go to study. Okay? Look at when Christ was here. Where did his knowledge came from? It came from within. He didn't have to go study. When he went to the temple and opened up the Bible, for example, and began to read from the Old Testament, he said, this scripture testifies of me. See? He read, and what he read he understood, and he knew what it meant. See? But the Sadducees and the Pharisees and the scribes, they were what? Fixated to knowledge. Okay? Well, that's what everybody wants you to do nowadays, don't they? They want you to sit in school for years and years and years. See, earlier and earlier. Preschool, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third, fourth, fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 12th grade, then first year of college, second year of college, third. They want you to sit in school for years, decades, ingesting knowledge. Okay? And what happens is you become fixated to the knowledge. You become hypnotized by it. After you've been staring at a book for a while, then you have brain fog. See, and you won't intuit anything. You turned your back upon what you knew in your heart. You turned your back upon intuition, how you could have flowered from within, which is what I talked about yesterday, to become the Einstein or the Madame Curie. See, the Susan B. Anthony, the Margaret Thatcher, the Winston Churchill, the Ruth, the Abraham, the Moses, the Paul, the John. See, instead, the Peter, the James, see, the Augustine, or some of the mystics of the church who found the inner way. It's amazing that they did. See, the way knowledge is forced on us. But they suffered persecution too. See, the letter of the law types. Christ said the letter killeth. The letter kills, but the Spirit gives life. So today we're doing the same thing, and we're being forced to do the same thing. That's why we acquire guilt. You see kids in college, and they're what are they doing? Smoking marijuana and drinking. On weekends they have these drinking parties and become drunk. They're trying to kill their conscience. They're guilty. They don't even know why they're guilty. See, they're guilty for fixating to knowledge, doing the same sin that Adam did. But they don't know. See, they don't know because they're subject to it. No one's ever taught them properly. No one's ever showed them that there's another way. Some get through. See, they get through school and they somehow hang on to some of their intuition. But see, what you need to do is to completely go the intuition route. Okay, so you've been in school. Some of you, but see, some people have failed in school. Some people have developed learning blocks because it was pushed on them. The challenges, the teases, the pressure, the relentless pressure, the academic pressure and the sports pressure, not to mention the socialization pressure and all the other pressures. But see, knowledge was forced on them too soon or too late. It was made too boring, or it was too soon, they couldn't understand it. Or the mean spirit. See, the unwholesome spirit behind the pressure. They rebelled against it. They resented it. That was their mistake. See, resentment is a reaction. That's what I said yesterday. Resentment is a reaction to the temptation. So by resenting it, see, you still become subject to it. So some people develop learning blocks. So you end up with two extremes. You end up with those who are extremely ambitious. The scribes and Pharisees and the experts, who become the bureaucrats and the experts, who lord it over you with knowledge. The teachers, the professors, the pharmacists, the administrators, the experts of all kinds, lording it over you with knowledge. On the other hand, you have a lot of people who develop learning blocks because of the pressure. Then in the middle, you have a whole bunch of people who want to make good. See, they believe the lie about success and happiness through education, so they keep going after the carrot, chasing the dangling carrot. They keep chasing the brass ring, but they develop a lot of guilt for it, so they end up taking drugs and smoking marijuana and drinking. See, things like that to get rid of their conscience. Okay, so now you see how Adam turned from the inner way, where he could have walked with God. See, and instead he became subject to the temptation, to the food, to the spoken word, to the woman, to knowledge. See, and then he fell. He no longer could be perpetually renewed from within every day. See, the person who walks with God is renewed every day with new insights, new realizations, and a refreshment, a time of refreshment from God, with His life and His love, His approval, and that's good enough for that person. Then the person goes out in the world, okay, and makes discoveries, and can still do things, and work, and have a business, see, and even study, and even read, and use knowledge. But this time, the knowledge will have understanding, and the knowledge will become a tool of understanding, see, for good, to do good, okay? So, but we are born as creatures of trauma with a nature that is inherently sensitive to words. We're born with a nature that's inherently sensitive to words, a nature that inherently looks to knowledge, looks to experts, looks to external authorities, see, and we believe more in them than in what we know in our own heart. So we're born with that nature, and we're born subject to the external authorities, see. And behind the external authorities stands the kingdom of hell, who is in charge of this world. It's a fallen world. So why all the rapes and the murders, the violence, the cruelty, the pressure, the heartlessness, the man's inhumanity to man, and the wars and famines and pestilence and the horrors. It's a wall-to-wall horror chamber. Well, it's because um, um, man's allegiance, human's allegiance, was um, it was given to the serpent, and now he's in charge. And Christ came to reverse all of that. Okay, he came to reverse it all, and he did. Okay, but only for those who ultimately um, turn from their ways and return to God. Okay, now, um, so now you see what has happened to the human race. So you can't help the condition you were born in. You can't help your conditions, who you were born, where you were born, and who your parents are. And you can't help the fact that you're subject to the external authorities all around you. You can't help all of that. And then there's teas and challenges and pressures. See, and you respond. You respond to them. If you had never reacted to them or responded to them, if you had come through relatively unscathed, then you could have been you still could have been your own person, kind of like Albert Einstein was. He was his own person. In fact, when he sat at the back of the classroom, he had a smile on his face, and one of the teachers hated him. Hated him. He hated that smile. Okay? He hated that smile. He told Einstein he would never amount to anything. But Einstein did amount to anything and became great in spite of school because he hung on to his own individuality. Okay? Well, a lot of us, most of us, lost it because we resented our parents. Okay? We resented other people. We wanted approval from the group. We wanted to be liked, but we wanted to be popular. See, and then we doubted what we knew in our heart, and we thought we went along to get along, and we also went along to get our piece of the pie. See, to become we thought we could make something of ourselves and then become successful and have all kinds of success and happiness and lord it over other people with knowledge and so on. But it didn't work out. Now, some people just keep on that path, see, and a lot of people find some kind of a comfort zone where they don't rock the boat, they go along to get along. Okay, they're rewarded for not questioning, for not being themselves, for being false. They're rewarded for it, and they live, and then they die. But for some people, they just can't. Something in them is yearning like a salmon wants to swim upstream. Something in them is yearning for their Creator, yearning for what's good and what's pure, and what's noble, what they knew when they were a little child and loved. See, they loved kindness, courage, gentleness. See, honesty. All those beautiful things that they loved when they were little children. They yearn for that. Okay? And they're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and they don't want to be phony anymore. They don't want to put on an act anymore. They don't want to pressure. They want to pressure their own kids anymore. They find themselves yelling at their kids just like they were yelled at, pressuring their kids just the way they were pressured. And something in them won't let you find that something in you doesn't want to let you be sweet and kind. It doesn't want to let your hair down and just be yourself. Not only do people on the outside want you to be a phony, but something in you won't let you. So you see how what's on the outside gets on the inside? The spirit of pressure, spirit of ambition, spirit of knowledge, raw knowledge without understanding. See, that spirit, that mean spirit, that letter of the law spirit gets inside. So there you are, giving your kids a hard time when they spill a little milk. Give them a hard time. See? Well, so if you see that there's something wrong with the way you're existing, then you yearn for answers. Okay? And it happens, and I cannot tell you when it happens. But it happens at a certain point when you're ready. And I can't tell you when a person is ready, but you have a spiritual crisis and a turning from the way you were going. You're willing to give it up. You want to know the truth, regardless of the consequences. Even if you lose your job, you lose. See, you may not have to. You may not have to. But you're willing to lose everything to start to live rightly, sweetly, kindly, gently, courageously, nobly, honestly. See, you don't want to hate people anymore. You don't want to resent people. You don't want to judge people anymore. You don't want to fool people anymore. Okay? So you're ready to know the truth regardless of the consequences. See? Well, with that kind of an attitude, then God responds. See? And then your soul now, it inclines toward good, inclines towards God instead of inclining the way it always had been in the past. See, you always see the devil was in charge. He was the master. He dangled the carrot. Ambition, getting even, proving something, lording it over other people. See, getting revenge, showing them. See, that's what he was in charge of that. And you went along. You thought, well, that's the only way I'm going to get anywhere. But you just don't want to be that way anymore. Okay? So now the solution, see, the first part of the solution is simply seeing all of this, what I've said, and inclining now toward the good, away from the horror chamber that you had fallen into, inclining the other way, so that you can be rescued from it. Okay? And it's an inside thing. I have to tell you also, you're not going to find, it's not something you can do on the outside. You're not going to find it in a church, from a preacher, from a guru, from a counselor, from anyone. You might hear someone like me speaking of these things, which awakens you to see the truth. And seeing that truth, you're sorry about what you see. You're sorry about what you see, about yourself and about the world and what has happened. See, and you yearn, see, to find a better way. You yearn for what is good and what is true with all your heart. Okay? And then you can begin the turnaround, the change for the better, and change over from death to life. And now I have to make an end to this video, and we'll continue with the solution. See, I've already alluded to it in the next video. My name is Pastor Roland.